I was on my way last night, getting ready to lose my shirt in my weekly poker group. So I did what I always do on my way to pokers. I popped on.
Shirts?
I popped on the Thursday night football game, and Ian Eagle and this man with a highly entertaining call. I called up just at the time as I heard him put the Ziggy on Justin Tucker, and Ian called him out for Tucker on Tucker violence. That's what he said. And Ross Tucker here on the Rich Eisen Show. It's been a while, Ross. How are you, sir?
Rich, I'm fantastic. Thank you for listening last night.
It was great. Listen, you guys are great together.
Rich, you should see some of the tweets I got from people that were listening to the game. We've gotten to the point now where people really do believe the announcers have that kind of power. I mean, one guy tweeted me and said, maybe you should STFU now.
Oh.
And I replied back to him. I said, are you a Ravens fan or did you just bet on the game?
Or he could have had Justin Tucker in fantasy, and that's a -1. You know, I mean, I don't know if there's any rational thought behind it, but it was just funny the way that Ian is so funny, and the two of you together are terrific, man. I enjoyed the listen quite a bit. I enjoyed it. I just only wish I had been listening. I was already out of the car when the Robert Hunt moment in the sun occurred. I'll just give you, sir, the floor on what this means for big men everywhere to see him just live his best life, throw caution to the wind, and hope that nobody noticed a 6'6", 327-pound man was ineligible. You know, what do you think?
Well, Rich, I mean, it's one of my favorite plays ever, and I call a lot of games.
Yes, you do.
And I'm so glad I was there for it. And there's just so many aspects of it that are hilarious. I mean, Myles Gaskin's going out for the screen, and Hunt turns around and looks for the ball like it's for him. And he's the right guard. I mean, I think I tweeted it was my favorite touchdown pass to a right guard I've ever seen. I mean, you know, sometimes there's tackle eligibles. There's never a guard like that. But what's crazy is just how athletic he looked.
Yeah.
And then he dove for the end zone and reached it over the goal line. He looks like, you know, they always say, act like you've been there before. He looked like he'd done it before. I literally said blind on the broadcast that he must have played running back or tight end in high school. We tried to look it up during the break, and we saw he averaged 19 points and 11 rebounds in basketball, but we didn't see anything about other sport, you know, other positions. And then I saw his quotes after the game where he said he played a little wide receiver and he had to. I mean, he looked legit with the ball in his hand.
I just love that he made a move, but the thing I love, too, is that, you know, even I got caught up in it, too. I thought he could have been, you know, eligible, but then I'm like, wait a minute, he's an interior lineman. There's no way on planet Earth he could have been eligible at all. But I guess everybody except for him, Gaskins, and I guess Tua had to know this was off, but nobody else could. So everyone else was blocking like this is a play, and everyone else was tackling like this is a play. I don't know why. I just loved every last second of it. Ross,
well,
that was amazing.
Rich, there was a split second where I thought I had missed something,
right?
And that maybe he had lined up at tight end. You know, because I didn't see the flag. The flag didn't come out right away for illegal touching, and I thought, did he line up at tight end? Like, did they just run a screen to Robert Hunt? I mean, you have to understand, Rich, right? Like, every guy that played O-line in junior high, high school, Pop Warner, NFL, we all lived vicariously through Robert Hunt last night. I mean, look, I was glad to play in the NFL. I love playing line. But we all just once want to know what it's like to have the ball. Now, I played fullback in 7th grade, scored a touchdown. I don't think about that every day.
Attaboy.
But honestly, most of us have never touched the ball. So to see one of us that when they were in 3rd grade was called Husky, you know, now when they're older, they're called a big guy, right? Like, we know what that means. We know what you're saying. To see one of us get in the end zone, even if it didn't count, it meant a lot to our people, Rich.
Ross Tucker, I think it meant so much to a lot of people, not to get too deep, but what the hell. To anybody, you know, who works so hard at what they do, and it's a team effort at whatever job that they do or whatever class that they're taking or whatever they're doing, you know, for the collective of whatever the collective may be for them to just say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to do like snap at the, like just kind of snap and take the lead when it's not appropriate to, or it's not expected to, or just screw it. And then just go for the gusto and then act like you've been there before and hope nobody notices. It really was just one of the greatest moments I've ever seen on a football field. And I'm not exaggerating. It really was incredible. I loved it. Every second.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, too, because I don't think people realize just how athletic you have to be to even be an NFL offensive lineman, right? Like, he averaged 19 points in basketball. I'll never forget when I got moved, Rich, from defensive line to offensive line in college, my coaches at Princeton, they said, do you think you're a better basketball player than the Michigan offensive line? Because your alma mater had just won the national championship in '97.
Right.
And I was a pretty good high school basketball player, so I thought, no, they're not. Meanwhile, then I get to Washington as a rookie, and like John Jansen and those guys, John Jansen got his first scholarship offer was from Michigan when he was playing in the state championship in basketball in 10th grade. Like, you can't be a slug and be on an NFL field, period. Like, all these guys played tight end or played basketball or maybe even, played D-line. There's not a lot of them that were just, big-boned linemen their whole life.
Ross Tucker of Ross Tucker Football Podcast fame, as well as Westwood One. He called the game last night with Iron Eagle and calls games all over the map right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's just flip the script a little bit here. We hear about let's bury the film, et cetera, when something doesn't go well for a team that's otherwise terrific. Cowboys, for instance, is one. Did the Ravens have the bury the film game last night? What do you think on that one?
Well, I don't think they can afford to do that because the Dolphins had a really good plan for them that the Ravens didn't solve all night. And I think that's probably the one thing that people don't understand enough about the NFL. It's one of the reasons why Belichick and the Patriots have been so good. Rich, you have a totally different plan, or you come up with some plan every week that you think accentuates your strengths and attacks their weaknesses, and it can look – that's why upsets happen. Because the team has a really good plan, you don't have a good plan, and that's enough for them to be able to beat you even though you're better than them. Now, certainly, they just played the Vikings in overtime on Sunday. They played a lot of snaps. I mean, they kind of looked like a lethargic team. And who knows if the game would have been different. I don't know what Sammy Watkins was doing on that first drive if the Ravens had got more of a lead. If I hadn't jinxed my brother from another mother, Justin Tucker, who knows what happens. But the point is, Rich, they did the same thing the whole night. They came with a zero blitz, which means it's man-to-man across the board. They liked their corners, Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, and they said, we don't think Lamar can beat us against the blitz, and they couldn't. Their corners matched up well on the Ravens receivers. Lamar was a little off, and the Ravens didn't have a very good answer. So they can't afford to bury the tape because that's what the next team's going to do, and the next team after that until they prove that they can – and that's why the way the NFL works. If you have an issue, if you're bad against the bull rush, the next game you play, that guy is going to bull the crap out of you until you prove you can stop it.
Ross Tucker here on the Rich Eisen Show. It's our new normal. Like right now, one game into Week 10, so many teams coming off of a bye. Some teams have played half of their season, a little bit more than half of their season. There's really no such thing as half a season anymore. It's kind of right around now. So at this point, the best team you've seen with your own two eyes in all the football that you've called so far this year is which team, Ross Tucker?
I still think it's the Bucs. I mean, I think you can make an argument for the Rams. I am unbelievably impressed with what Vrabel has done with the Titans. I mean, he is an awesome coach. Former teammate of mine. I had no idea he'd be this good of a coach. But I still think it's Tampa Bay. I mean, they're a little bit banged up right now. But, I mean, I always look at it like this, Rich. If there was a series of 5 games played like in my backyard or played in Wichita, Kansas or something like that, I would take the Bucs. I mean, I would still take Tampa, which is why I half jokingly said when the Rams signed Odell, I said, everybody says, oh, they're all in, and Von Miller and Odell. I said, well, now all they need to do is get Brady, and I guarantee you they win it.
Yeah.
All they need to do is because here's the thing, Rich. I was thinking about this, and I know Brockman's into this kind of stuff. When's the last team to win it with a quarterback who's never won a playoff game? Usually there's like you got to walk before you can run in the postseason. Now, usually you're doing it with the same franchise, and obviously Kurt Warner, your guy, did it. But I was trying to think, who's the last team where the quarterback won the Super Bowl even though he had never won a single playoff game before?
Well, I guess let's game this out a little bit here, and it'll be easy since Brady. We know Brady's one of them, right, from 2001. Yep. So we can then work our way the other direction. How about
Mahomes had won a playoff game?
I mean, how about Foles? How about that one?
That's a great call.
That's what I was going to say.
That's a great call.
But that's not. I mean, he came in. I know that. Yeah. Like, who's a starter an entire year?
My first thought was Flacco.
But did Flacco win a playoff game before the year that they won in the Super Bowl?
Flacco won a bunch of playoff games before they won. Flacco and Harbaugh won a playoff game like 3 or 4 straight years before they won the Super Bowl.
That had to have been the case, right?
Russell Wilson?
I don't know. Well, Russ had won a playoff game the year before they won it. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's true. I mean, so here comes. So you think like again? I don't know.
Question.
Hold on a second. Lions fans would say, I don't know why TJ's getting up right now because I'm about to slag on his Cowboys. But Lions fans would definitely say that they won a playoff game in Dallas, but there was a terrible flag. So Stafford kind of won a playoff game.
Oh, Ben Roethlisberger's rookie season.
That's another one right there. Well, no, that was not his rookie. That was not his rookie season.
He didn't win the Super Bowl.
He didn't win the Super Bowl that year. Jeez. He won playoff games before winning it. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I don't know, man.
It might not be an issue, and he's got experience, but I don't know. He's never been in an NFC Championship game. He's never been in a divisional round game. It just seems like that would be pretty impressive. Now, Foles did it, so you had a great answer, but it would be pretty impressive to win a divisional round game against a good team, the Cardinals or the Bucs. Then you win the NFC Champ. I mean, that's a lot to ask of a guy, in his first kind of playoff run, so to speak.
Well, I mean, Arizona clearly is going to be in that conundrum when they make the playoffs this year, right? And then Kyler's going to get his first run in the second season, when that happens. And I know their lone loss came against a Green Bay team that did not have Devontae Adams on a short week and went in and hit him in the mouth. But what do you think, last one for, I guess, about Arizona's long-term prospects this year then?
Well, obviously they're really talented, but just as you and I are talking through it, when we get to the playoffs and Arizona plays the Packers or Arizona plays the Bucs, I'm not picking Arizona to win that game. I mean, they might, but it's kind of like, and I shouldn't be this way, but it's kind of like I'll believe that the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray can beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers or Tom Brady and the Bucs when I see it. And I feel that way a little bit about Stafford and the Rams. And the one thing I haven't heard anybody mention is I'm kind of wondering, Rich, if Aaron Rodgers is mad right now at the Packers. Did he want them to go in on Odell? We haven't heard that, but we know that he wants them to be more aggressive. Kind of sounds like if they were more aggressive, maybe they could have got him. I haven't heard anybody talk about what Aaron's thinking right now, because maybe they lose to the Rams in the NFC Championship game, and Odell has 3 touchdowns, and Rodgers flips out again this offseason.
Well, Odell's first game as a Ram is going to be at Green Bay because he's not going to play this week. Then it's a bye week. Then they're at Green Bay. But to be honest with you, I think that's just geography. I heard when it all came down to it, he either was going to go home to New Orleans or come to nice, warm, big city Los Angeles, and the big city and Von Miller's friendship kind of trumps everything. And going,
and you know what, Rich?
That might have been it. That might have something. It might be much ado about nothing with Rodgers anyway. When it comes down to it with Odell is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll give Odell a lot of credit in the sense that it really wasn't about money, and it really wasn't about getting the ball. I mean, I do think everybody likes Los Angeles. All you guys like living out there, number one. And I also think he wants to try to chase a ring. So a lot of guys say it's not about the money or it's not about the touches. He kind of proved it.
Ross, what are you calling this week? I know you got to go to a production meeting. What's next for you this weekend?
So 3 games in 4 days. I did Maction Wednesday. I did the game last night, and then Bucknell at Army tomorrow. I do all the Army games for CBS Sports Network. Right. I love it.
That's so cool. Enjoy that. Let's chat again soon, maybe right before Army-Navy. How does that sound? Let's connect. If not
that'd be awesome. Yep, I'll be doing that game. Thanks, Rich.
I bet you will. Thanks again. That's Ross Tucker right here on The Rich Eisen Show for big men everywhere. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.